Well, let's work a little more on this shoulder piece. What I'd like to do is maybe get some of this kind of edging around the shoulder plate, and also try and imprint some designs on it, kind of like this that we see here. I'd like kind of a raised imprint of these kinds of designs. So let's see if we can work on that. Right now I've got a subdivision surface modifier on it. I'm going to go ahead and take that off, and I'm going to add a multi-resolution, and I'll just subdivide it a ways. See, maybe let's try 5 here. I will zoom in with the period key on the numpad, and here we go. I think I should probably isolate it as well. Maybe I'll just move it to a whole layer, or is it on it? Oh, it's on its own layer here, so I'll just work with this now. So the first thing let's do is work on these ridges around the corners here, around the edges. To do that, I'll come back over to Sculpt Mode. Let's switch over to the Sculpt Draw brush. I don't need a texture on this, so I'll just hit the X here to remove the texture. So let's see what kind of ridge we can get on this. I'll hit the F key to shrink the size of the brush, and I'll zoom in here and just do a couple of stroke tests just to see what I can get. I'll just go along here. It's not bad. I think I need it to be a little bit stronger. Let me increase the strength here, and I'll try this. That's pretty good. I like that. But let's also turn on smooth stroke so we can have a little bit smoother line. So I'll just begin here, and let's try this. I'm going to begin right about here and just drag along this edge like so. Let's see how this works. So I'll just kind of work on this around the whole piece and see what we can come up with. Now to center up my brush here, say in this area, when I'm in sculpt mode, I can press Alt F and it will frame that up and center that point right in the center of my view. And now when I tumble around, it's going to tumble at that point. So that kind of helps as you're going around a piece like this. And I think maybe I'll try another matte cap. So I'll press the N key on the keyboard and scroll down to the matte caps here. And let me see if this one's going to help me see a little better. I think this one will. So I'll go back to that one. And now I want to create this in here. I'll turn on smooth stroke again and maybe give me a little bit more of a radius there. And let's try this. I'm just going to try and do it freehand. Why not? I'll begin up here and come down and then turn and then down. Yeah, something like that. Now I can't tell, but it looks like there may be one right down the center there. Let's do that. See if I can bring one from here all the way down to this edge, or this point. See how this works. So now what I'd like to do is create some of this kind of interesting pattern work here and here, and maybe down here and over here. Let's see if we can do that. So what I've done is I've gone out to Google Images and I've found some tattoo designs. I just Googled tattoo designs and hundreds of them came up, and I just grabbed this one here. So what I want to do is make brushes for my texture brush from these designs. So I've already done one here, and I've just taken the design, deleted the background out of it, and inverted the color. And this one I've saved out as a PNG file that I can then bring in as a texture to my brush in Blender. So the first thing I'll do is come up here to File and go to New, and I've already typed in 1000 by 1000, so I'm just going to click OK to create a new document, and here it is. What I'll do now is come over here and go to my rectangle select tool and select and drag select one of these pieces right here, say this one, and I'll press Ctrl or Command C to copy that, and I'll come back here to my new document, press Ctrl or Command V to paste that in. Now once I do that, you see I've got this floating selection pasted layer thing. I just need to right click and choose to new layer, and that will create it as a layer. So if I turn off my background, you can see I've got that white around this. I need to get rid of that. So I'll just come over here to the fuzzy select tool and click in the white area. And now all I have to do is just delete this, and now it's just leaving the black behind. I'll deselect this by going to Select None. You can also do Shift Command A. And now you can see that I've got just that design with no background here. So now I can invert this. I'll select the layer that the design is on, and I'll go to Colors and Invert. And there you are. So now we've got something that we can use as a texture for our brushes. So I'll go ahead and save this. I'll say File, Export As, and it's going to export as a PNG here. And I've got a brushes folder in my project folder here. So I'll just call this Tattoo 2 and export. And I'll do that a couple more times with these other ones. I'm not real sure which ones I want to use, so I'll make a brush for each of them. I'll come back over here and I'll go to my rectangle select, and I'll drag select this part right here to try and grab this. And then I'll come over here to that document I already created, and I'll just use this same one. I'll just paste this with Ctrl or Command V. I'll right click, choose to new layer, and I'll hide the old one. Select that fuzzy select tool, click on the white part, delete it, deselect everything, and now I just need to invert the color. And there we go. Now I can go to File, Export As, and this one I'll call Tattoo 3. Alright, so now we have all of our designs saved out as PNG images. Let's go back to Blender and see if we can use these for our texture brushes. Alright, back here in Blender, let's go down to our textures area here, and let's create a new texture. Instead of clicking here, I'm going to go ahead and come over here to this texture area over here, and I'll click on New. And I want an image or a movie, which is what it is there, and I'll click Open. And here we can come into our brushes folder and find those tattoo images. So here's that tattoo 1. I'll see, actually let me switch over to the images and see which one I want. So here are all the brushes I have, and here they are. I think maybe I'll begin with this one here, or maybe this one. I'll try this here. So I'll open the image, and we can see that texture in our texture brush here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to align this kind of like this, and I want to be able to lay it down using the stroke method of anchored, and I want to have a fairly low strength here. So now if I press the F key, you can see that I've got this image now attached to my brush. And I'll hit the escape key to get out of that for now. And as long as I have this anchored stroke method selected, I can click and drag where I want this to appear. So if I want the center of the image to begin, say, here, I can click and drag, and it will begin to put that image down like that. Now, I didn't quite get it where I wanted it. Let me try that again. Maybe I'll do it here. But you can see you can lay down these imprints of the brush. Something like that. I'll come over here and do the same thing again. But this time it needs to go the other way, right? So I need to have a mirror image of it, because I'd like to put that mirror image of it right there. So what I can do is I can come up here to the size and offset area under, where is this? It's under the texture. And for the y-axis, I can maybe put -1 in here and hit return. And then maybe I'll come in here and try and do this right here. And that'll spin it around so it's the mirror image of it. Let me try and get that right in here. Looks like I need to redo that. Let me try that again a little bit farther up. There we go. Maybe I want that one to be right about there. There we go. So now you can come through with different designs and lay them down on your objects to get kind of a bas-relief imprint from designs you can find or make in GIMP. So I'll continue on with this, add a couple of more imprints on here with the other designs I have. And then in the next video, I think we're going to take a look at finishing up the hands, the claws, or the long fingernail type things, maybe work on the ears, try and finish up the general details of the character itself.